with CJ and Jester. With CJ and Jester. Good morning, Grenada, Caribbean, Peter Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, North America, Asia, Africa, Europe. Good morning to all our Take Five fans and family. And good morning to you, Jester, and how are you?
Claire, good morning, and I'm all right. And you?
I am doing good for the time being. Good.
Let me say a special good morning to all the listeners and viewers of this very unique program, indeed entitled Take Five, for yet another Tuesday, the
In the,
final Tuesday of May,
is it of May?
of April, sorry. Look,
But what is
really, yeah,
final
of
Tuesday
April,
of
of April,
April?
final Tuesday of April.
No, honestly, do you see the way it's really flying?
Maybe that's why I said May.
I know because it's like just a couple of days or a couple of weeks ago, we were on the 1st of April, and now we're at the end, almost at the end of April. Today is the 29th. Tomorrow is the last day of April 30th. Time is a flying.
Oh,
And
yes.
the thing is, are we seeing the progress that we're making with the time that's flying?
Well,
Or are we
it depend on how you're looking at it. See, it's maybe some people judging from the individual standpoint, maybe yes. If you're looking at it from national standpoint, that may be something a bit different. So it all depends
on how we're
how
looking
people,
at it?
yeah, how it is. Yeah.
Yep, so it is Tuesday, the 29th of April, not May, 29th of April, and we are here. And let me first say good morning to all of our Bonjour, all the viewers with much love and blessings. Thank you so much for checking in. Just to see you, I have my phone, phone here this morning because seems something seems to go wrong with the settings on the one that we're using. So I am I am told to use my phone this morning and can respond in a minute. Good morning to you. Let's see. I think we are on here. How are we doing this? Hold on, Keno. Hmm, okay, Keno, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm okay, and you?
I'm good, thank you. And Jester is here nodding his head. I know what you're nodding your head for, and you're speaking to
I
me.
yeah, I was nodding my head because I knew that the piece of phone you had before was no good.
Keno, pray, please, thank you. All right, okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Morning, Mr. Lord. We give you thanks for waking us up. We give you thanks for freeing up our life and mostly safekeeping and abiding grace. We give you thanks the morning we didn't expect to be whole, but by the mercy of you, each and every one of your children, especially those who are lucky, see a bright and getting up morning. This morning, Lord, I bring the country before you. Grenada, Carrico, and Martinique. But at the rest of this country, even the whole world is in one this morning. But you are the rock in the very land. You are the one to tell all your children in the time of storm. This morning, Lord. Remember the folk of Grenada, the end time of Grenada this morning, blessed Lord. But I remember each and every one throughout the world I bring before you this morning. But I God, I bring the entire post before you. Reach out and touch and every functional different police station. Yes, I bring before you. Remember there are you this all land. Father God have mercy on them and remember them. I bring the Prime Minister this morning, blessed Lord. But it's only you and you alone what knows everything. I'm only asking you, Lord, to lend them the hammer of love to break down the stony hands. This our blessed Lord. Remember all the ministers. Remember the opposition party. Remember all the ministers in them before, Lord. But I take each and every one of them in time, my God and my King. But I draw you cutting and give all the children a pig down below. But I will use you more than ever. There is times you up and there is times you don't. There is times you almost to the ground. Remember each and every one pass by the hospital. This is an hospital one. Even the hospital bed. When it's there, they cry for night. And when it's not, they cry for day. Reach out and touch each and everyone, those preparing themselves for their fires and table. But I know those in the home this morning, what have the food in the matter body. Reach out and touch each and every one of them this morning. But I both on the ocean, I bring it before you this morning. Not forgetting Mr. Getting Amen. Reach out and touch each and every one. Bless them if they'll be so pleased. My God and my King, this morning, Lord. What could I tell you what you don't know about your children? Father, we are your sitting up there. Father, you know each and every one of what you say. When I cry, oh Lord. Father, I turn unto my praise. Father, from the end of the earth, I cry unto thee. When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. It is for thou art near shelter for me from the strong tower. From all my enemies, this our blessed Lord. My God and my King. Remember that word you teach on. Bring all the workers before you this morning, blessed Lord. Each and every one of those. What I cannot name them one by one. But Master, you have sent it to each and every one. We say thank God again. Bless each and every go because it's bind them together like one bundle of thing that cannot be broken. My God and my King. You shout and talk each and every one of us. Father, the bosses, I believe, driver, is some doctor. I work out throughout the world this man, I bring each and every one. But I know all those who have me as an enemy, I bring them before you this morning, blessed Lord, because I know you is good and you is kind and you is merciful unto all the children. This morning, blessed Lord, reach out and touch to go this morning, blessed Lord. Reach out and touch just this morning. Touch by the whom they left behind. Each and every one of them in home, oh, blessed God. My God and my trusting. Take them in your faith, and whichever they live, guide them to set them this morning, blessed Lord. That those that cannot help themselves, one of those who have nobody to search on for them. Reach out and touch them in all different ways. My God and my King this morning, as you study this out, but say you have. You say, our Father, which art in heaven, you say, holy be thy name. You say, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses. As we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, for that is the kingdom, the glory, forever and ever. Amen and amen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, General. Thank you for always praying for us and giving us the time that we need to on our program every Tuesday or every other Tuesday. We really do appreciate it. And don't bother to join Jester in laughing at me and like, well, good for you, credit for and have a very
Well, you know,
forward.
translation.
Huh?
You know, Daniel, so no matter. Yeah.
I can't help it. I know you have to just give me a hard time. That's all. Thank you so very much.
Well, have a good day, both you and him.
Thank you.
And have a lovely day, my dear.
Okay.
Same to you.
Right.
Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So that was Kendall for us this morning and all.
Generals on point this morning.
POINT.
Yeah.
Yes, she was. So it is, let me say good morning to Kathleen Leto. She already checked in last week. She checked in late, but she's already on this morning. And we'd like to say thank you to each and every one of you that keeps checking in on the live with us to talk about mental health this morning. And if you're a contact of mine, you will see when I post it what we are talking about. And this morning we're talking about African American women or black women, as a matter of fact, that goes through all sort of discrimination, harassment because of the way the color of their skin, their hair, and our hair, not their our, because I'm included in that too. Our hair, the color of our skin, and what we stand for, what we're going through, and how we make the changes to fit into other tribes without knowing that we are doing this. Let me also say good morning to Chance, the Game 97 out there in Teo. Good morning to you. It says, listen, Mary's listening from Toronto. We know it's you when I say chance the game. Everybody know it's Mary in Toronto. Waiting for Jenny and Lorna. And who else? Who else when you were Toronto, Jester? Well,
And Annie.
Annie already checked in on WhatsApp.
Yeah, Annie's on
Yes.
WhatsApp.
Yeah, they're on WhatsApp and they send and my friend
Good.
Evelyn is also on WhatsApp. They is already checked in this morning and tell me have a good program. My kids keep me in the loop, and we good like that. So just you have to say good morning to your people.
Yeah, good morning to my boy Bushies. Yeah,
Forest.
Gardner Richardson, man.
Yes.
Winter Johnny went back on Saturday.
Yes, I
I
see.
think Andy Bartholomew is still here.
So yeah, really.
I too is still here.
I just still here.
I too
Okay.
is still here. Yeah. Good morning to Clay and Maho, the Robinson family out there in Hill Street, Sates, the Glean family out there in Boston. Yeah. And Claire, I would like to say a special good morning and wish all who are going back to the base country, yeah, after coming and enjoy the Easter um season with us. Yeah, and some might be traveling today, so we do wish them safe travels. Likewise, it might be people who went to our next country, from here went to our next country to and they were looking to come back home. We too do wish them safe travels. So whichever destination you're getting at,
According to the
yeah,
each and every one of them that
God's
will
guide.
this morning.
Yeah,
And a lot of them gonna be like me when they get on the jet,
yeah.
fighting and all that until they get into the air, the 6,000 height and settle there and then we feel a bit better.
But just three things to be briefly before we dive into our program. Well, the Sarka come and ended. Well, it's usually a week of activities, but the Sarka is the hallmark of the activities. So I think it went down well. Of course, there are some concerns which I would raise with the organizers. I think it's worthwhile to look into, being on the ground and when you hear of certain things. But I think generally speaking, um, it was well received and people did come out in a numbers to support the activities, some of the activities. All right, so that is that. We heard of this unfortunate occurrence over the weekend in Victoria with this shooting. Of course, we're hearing all sorts of things which I don't rely on, so we all have to wait on the
The
official report coming out from the police while they are doing the investigation at the moment. But what we can safely say is that four persons got shot, and I understand one is critical. Yeah, that we can say that is a fact resulting. But all the rest I hear say, and we rely on until we get the facts surrounding the matter deeply so. But what I dare say is that we are dealing with a different generation now, and security, safety and security, right? Especially when you have these sort of celebrations. I believe the police should be looking in a different direction as to how you deal with the situation in terms of putting structures in place. We are dealing with a different generation of animals.
hooligans, I say hooligans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I only say that to really drive the point so that people get where I'm speaking of. You understand what I'm saying? It's a different era, Claire, in which when we were their age, the majority of them, how we used to go out and enjoy yourself.
You know,
And it's
you made a
quite
point.
different now.
Yeah, you made a point,
Yeah.
Jester, and said that the police has to put in different structures.
Yeah.
And I've been speaking to you, well, as Neil always ask me questions because questions is what I know how to ask to get answered. And I don't think the police can be blamed because of where the things take place. You cannot police all this amount of people in where it is. I don't think we have enough police
Yeah,
to control
that's true.
to the amount of, and I think they try their best to conquer control and everything. But when we have, as you say, what you call them again? Those people out in full force. It is hard for police to police these people.
Which bring well that I had to make that point, and I'm glad you raised it as to how you man all these people, right? And I believe it's high time. I've been saying that long before that government need to seriously invest in cameras in public spaces to help, right? Um, deal with security for them. It just that's the time that has come on our hands.
Yes.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, in England, they were the first country to have cameras all over the place. So if you're walking and you scratch your butt cheek, they see that.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's why it is easy for them to catch on to criminals when they do things. The rest of the world has caught up with cameras all over the place. I'm not sure how we are here with it, but I'm hoping, as you say.
Yeah,
But then
me
again,
too, definitely.
when the deed is already done, Jester, cameras doesn't make a difference because to catch the perpetrator after that, it's a community effort. So, and what I heard again, I'm not sure, and don't quote me, but I heard that the people that were causing the chaos in Victoria was not from Victoria. You know, always that they come from a different parish and come to the place because they have a beef with somebody there and they create havoc. It's the same as when Bathway is massacred and all these kind of things on a holiday. And everybody's saying, oh, Bathway, they throw the garbage and everything. But when I'm sitting here and I see the cars go by and the motorcycles go by and they all heading for Bathway, we don't have all the people in St. Patrick's. And St. Patrick's people are they're conscious of their surrounding. And I don't think we make that massive mess, as they say, because other people come in and we get the blame. So Victorians are getting the blame right now because the thing took place there. And they're, as far as I hear, they're mad as a wasp in a hornet's nest.
Yeah, because well, if that's the case, it really it put a damp spirit on the activities in going forward because that's 2 years in a row now that
Mhm.
gunshot have been resulting from the activities, and that is really not good because that will just make people feel deterred of
Yeah,
attending the
well,
activities. And the Thursday coming, they have the Labor Day celebration in Victoria. So again,
but
it's just not
serves me right last year, just I think the guys that went out to Victoria to cause chaos, they came the day before and they had their weapons and whatever it is up in the reservoir, and then when the police got wind of it and they were able to get rid of all the weapons that was there. So it is an ongoing thing, and I don't know. It's like, as you said, the race of people that we're dealing with right now, it is not easy to deal with.
And the last thing I want to make mention of for this coming holiday, right? When school go on holiday in July, um, the National Sports Council will be undergoing a holiday recreation program. I don't know if you remember that back in the revolution, which was really, really good to keep our youth, our nation's youth, um, occupied in a very positive way, yeah, through the means of the different sporting discipline. All right, and so that would be something that would be revised, in a broader way. Um, being supported by the National Sports Council. So I'm just saying that parents should be encouraged to let their children get involved in doing something positive, and that is one of the means that can be used.
When will we holding all events?
It's all over. It's a national thing. Yeah, it might just be. Yeah,
So
it should be in
we're
place.
this. You knew that was
Yep.
coming. You knew that was coming. Because when we have events in place and we have football all the time, almost every weekend, there's stuff that takes place in planes and there's no porta parties. And I'm telling you, my neighbor, my ground, that pays for a lot of what happens there.
What I do know is that things go in stages, and first of all, I know our council up here um have a proposal for them for washroom facility, change room.
Lighting.
Nah, they don't not like not as yet. So come on, play. We have to. Would you put a pot spoon of food in your mouth? No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I will if it's a bedroom temperature.
You would use a tablespoon to eat.
We will pass.
You know what I'm saying? So
No,
yeah. Yeah, so that's the situation. So that's my bit. I don't know if what if you have any
I
to
already
raise.
See the lighting because every corner you turn in Trinidad has a playing field. It's lighted up. So I'm wondering if you don't have enough people in planes that to vote to our minister, and that is why we are suffering here. Because let me tell you something. During the election or wherever, you hear the good people of Roseville and the people of Riverside. Plains is smack dab in the middle of it, and we're not getting diddly squats.
Yeah.
And that can tap the playing field right there.
And yeah, finally, the curtain is slowly coming down on the Roselle football tournament. In fact, the semi-final kicks off this evening. So you have semi-final games tonight and tomorrow night. The final will be Sunday, God's will, Sunday the 4th. Yeah. So,
And before you go forward, Canada has a new prime minister.
oh yeah, but it is the same party, yeah.
Liberals, what people like
Yeah.
freedom, liberals. Well, the conservative is
Justin had stepped down, right?
yes, he did.
Yeah.
And his daughter is really, really happy because she wanted it that.
I know it's politics is
Politics
a
a
lot of
toll on
pressure,
the
you know.
families, and so yes, she wanted
Yeah.
her dad back, so she got her dad back. So yes, so they have a new, what's his name, Mike Carney or something like that, and he is like fresh off the boat in reference to politics.
Yeah.
But because the Canadians voted him because they think that he's the best one to deal with Donald J. Trump, in wanting to annex Canada.
Oh yeah.
That's the 51st state.
So you think he will be prepared to jump in the mud too?
He jumped already. That's right.
Okay.
Daddy, just look at me. You know?
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Mhm.
So today, we are talking about African women or Black women, and how they are being dealt with the hair and the skin color and how we dress and everything like that. And before it says here, African American women face the emotional and mental weight of peer discrimination, harassment, and microaggressions at work and school simply for the way, let's say, our hair grows out of a scalp. And these experiences negatively affect their mental health. So we know that. It says the reality of peer depression for Black women. The topic of Black women and depression is anything but new. For years, Black women have tipped the scale for experiencing higher rates of depression than their white female or Black male counterparts. Now, a new topic of depression has emerged in the discussion on intersection between Black women and mental health on the internet. We need to talk about and normalize hair depression for Black girls, not being able to take care of yourself and your hair properly because you are emotionally exhausted, drained is very much a thing. So they're saying that just our hair alone, Jester, is a high topic of what's going on with us mentally. And it is amazing that we are talking about this in this era because a lot of Black women have diverted from the straightening of the hair to now braiding or weaving or wigs. And this again is something that we have to talk about. I did a research on, Black hair and women in um in North America. And let me see, I think I have a clip here that I can play when it comes to this. Let me see what it says here. Go ahead.
On Morning News Now, we spent a lot of time talking about mental health. This morning, we're focusing on the mental health and trauma Black women in America face on a daily basis. In a new series for Shape magazine called The Mental Health Cost of Being a Black Woman in America, Chrissy King writes, quote, "It's time to take a look at the heavy load that Black women are carrying and how they're coping or struggling to with their circumstances, along with the beauty, the joy, and resilience and the pride that they've managed to craft and nurture along the way." Chrissy King joins us now. She's a contributing editor of Shape's Digital Spotlight. Good to have you with us. So,
this is what he's talking about. So even on news, MSNBC, yes, they had that segment with Chrissy talking about the pressures that Black women go through in America. And it's not only the hair. As I said, it's the color of the skin and everything like that. It says entangling self-love with hair has always been deeply embedded in Black culture. Whether it is relaxed, straightened, or natural Black girls use their hair to express themselves. But what about the hair? What about if the hair is not styled? For many Black women, an overwhelming feeling of not wanting to be seen or be or productive rises to the surface. Hair depression is a cultural phenomenon that is only understood through proximity of Black culture. There is a deeper root to the issue at hand when it comes to the relation between hair and the identity of a Black woman. I would say hair depression has affected me by not feeling my best at times. When I'm looking in the mirror, I'll be like, I need my hair done and have anxiety that people are staring at me, or herself. I feel like hair depression is a real thing because with Black women and girls, we know that our hair is everything, and this might sound crazy, but we have an emotional tie to our hair. I've gotten frustrated and felt like crying when my hair wouldn't cooperate with me. I know other Black girls have had a full on meltdown because of it. I will continue to be curious.
Claire, with me, when it,
From that quote there I read in your piece, you explained the daily pressures on top of the mental burden that Black women face. What did you learn in writing this about Black women's mental health struggles?
Thank you for having me. I think, being able to contribute to these articles as well as read all the other articles in the piece is things I already knew, but also really eye-opening statistics. One of them especially important is when we're talking about mental health care, and especially for Black women. It is staggering that only 4% of therapists in the United States are Black. And so when we're thinking about finding a therapist that's culturally competent, that's a huge barrier to access just to begin with.
Okay? So, what's it?
Claire, let me establish here, first and foremost, I am not a racist. I will never be a racist. I believe in humanity, first and foremost. However, whenever I see any Black woman that maintain that sort of natural beauty and they don't
Relax.
put their hairs and use all these chemicals in the hair, I look at them in a very, very special way, in a very special light. It tells me that that person is very proud of
Yeah.
who they are as a Black person. You know what I'm saying? And they're willing to protect that and proudly show it off. And I respect them to the bone for such. You understand? So with me making that point, people would realize where I stand. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I don't know, I tell myself, Claire, women really do make themselves in trouble when it comes to it. No, I'm telling you, because I see some women have nice hair, good texture, and sometimes it has a mix because sometimes it may have what you call it dog like. So it's not only yeah, real nice hair, and then they make it see trouble. They put all kind of chemical in the end. They end up cutting it, and then they cut it low down, and then they go and look for some kind of hostile to. No, no, no. I'm just saying that what usually happens there. You to come back and plait it in, and
So let's dig into that. Now, as we go along, you will hear a little more. But you see, when we're growing up, as you say, we never knew about chemicals or straightening our hair or anything. When our grandmother planted our hair, one went north, one went south, one went east, one went west. They just give us black because our hair was always natural. As we grow, I mean, we become at an age where we think we want our hair to be this. We start delving into straighteners and perms and all that stuff. At the time, we did not realize that we were not sticking to our culture. Because when we look at, according to the people, the journal girls, when you have, the journal that used to get to where they sew you'll see your fashion clothes in there and you go to the seamstress and you see you want that dress.
yeah,
And you look at the journal girls and they have this nice, long, flowing hair. And you say, why can't I have my hair like this? And we think that when we straighten it, we're making life easier for us because we can just pull it back in one or do something or flip it and this kind of thing. Not realizing that we are conforming ourselves to the European people, European women, that they have the long flowing hair. And we forget about our culture of being really, really true to ourselves. And it started from slavery. Because you know that if I am a bit fairer than my sister, I will end up as the house slave and she'll be outside as the yard slave. So it started a long way back, not just today, as you're saying. It's not a new thing. It is something that has been going on for a while. And as time changes, we started doing more and more with our hair. As you said, some people they have nice hair, they cut it down, and some of them they grow it long, and some they grow it short, some shave around it, and they put a little thing in it. Thing. So hair has its own dimension right now. But when you look at it, a lot of black women now have moved away from the perms and the straighteners and they will go into braiding. Because again, we look at it as an easy way to do our hair. But these days, when you look at the young women or women that braid, the braid is past the backside, really, really long, because they, again, not thinking that you are conforming to the Euro style as it says here, and you want long hair, so you're going to braid your braid as long as possible because your hair is going to be flowing and swinging. Now they're saying that braids can cause cancer to us black women. And I sat and I think about it, and I said, they have a point, but the braid is not stuck to your scalp. You still have your hair and you attach the braid to it. So now that I realize that the movements of black women trying to go back naturally, they're dissing braids right now so that we would not buy braids again because the other things, the comments are not selling as they used to before. Then you have women saying, well, they cut their hair short. And you only hear, they say the Bible says, your hair is your crown of beauty. So now you cut your hair real bald, real like your hair is the Jester. And they look at you and they're like, well, why would you cut it all that hair on your head? Are you trying to look like a man? So where the heck do we go from there as a black person? Because everything we do, we are being attacked from the hair.
Yeah, but and I will make mention of Michael Jackson here as a black person, all right,
Mm-hmm.
who had created so much fame for himself as a superstar in the musical industry.
Mm-hmm.
But what did he do? He started bleaching himself. Then he thought that the nose that God has so designed for him wasn't good enough. He had to do plastic surgery, and at one time I even see while he was performing a piece, the head, the tip fell off. You understand what I'm saying? So in some instances, some black people did not stand firm and feel proud of how they were created.
Two, it is the pressure gesture. It's not you and I could do the same thing, you know. If you're being pressured, we're all around people that does certain things and we feel out of the loop. We want to belong, so we'll do stuff like that. Let's hear what the clip is saying here again. Because I'm telling you, it is not something that we all are proud of. Let's go.
Piece by saying, quote, "You've likely heard the phrase strong black woman. Can you tell us more about this title, how it came about, and how you think it plays into mental well-being?"
Absolutely. So this idea of a strong black woman has been with us for a very long time, dating to slavery. And when we think about it today, the impact of it is this idea that we as black women have to have it all together, to be resilient, to be strong, to take care of everyone else as a priority before ourselves. It prevents us from asking for help sometimes. And so it's a huge impact on mental health because in one way, we're taking care of everything, we're getting things done. Sometimes we're making it seem really easy. On the side, we are suffering with anxiety sometimes, depression, really struggling to keep it back together behind the scenes and really struggling to ask for help when we need it.
Hear that? Strong black women. And a lot of us, we are labeled strong black women. But how strong are we? As she said, we are like the multitaskers. You know, but that is, we can do everything. We cook, we wash, we clean, we do whatever. We take care of everybody and everything except us. And because we do not ask for help, so everybody think that we are okay. But on the other, on the spectrum of it, you suffer from depression, anxiety, and all that, that you may even have to seek therapy. So think about it. You not only have to deal with when you go to work or you go to school, people are making fun of you on your hair or the color of your skin, but you are going through that again in the sense that you are the one that is doing everything for everyone except yourself, Gary.
That's the whole thing. And Claire, the thing about it, right? This will boil down to, for me, a sort of cultural warfare, if you may put it. You see, you have trade wars going on now, and to me, with because what is happening, our black women, right? We are leaning towards the culture when it comes to here of the the Europeans, all right, um, the not African Americans, and that is what is happening. And to me, they are winning. They definitely are winning because when our black women are, you know, deserting our own natural black beauty of hair to install in our hair the sort of blonde kind of. I mean, come on, who is winning? Who is winning and who is losing here? So exactly.
So here this point. Dr. Afia Embil Shaka, a clinical psychologist and hairstylist, uses hair as an entry point to mental health, also known as psychotherapy. That's HAIRPY. It's not psychology or psychotherapy, psychotherapy. And Bishaka travels to different hair salons and barbers to teach hairstylists to not only care for their hair, but also their actual mental health. I teach stylists active listening. What happens in the salon that people usually open up more? Stress really shows in their hair. Commission is to connect our community to the mental health support we deserve and desire surrounding our hair care experience. And Bill Shacker breaks down the different possible causes of hair depression. There is a mismatch between how they want to look and how they are actually looking at that moment. People can have multiple reasons for that response. In her book, Post Traumatic Slave Syndrome, Joy the Guru explores in depth the concept of vacant esteem, where society instilled a low self esteem of self worth, hopelessness, and depression into the African American community. Black women will often value themselves based on their appearance. Society instructs black women that they might not have value or worth if they don't look a certain way, which also bolsters the thinking that we must wear wigs to attain a certain level of appeal. I think getting our hair done is a ritual. In a ritual, you're preparing your mind, body, and spirit to receive a blessing. And Bill Shaka says, through her experience in studying beauty rituals in Africa, she saw from birth to death that people have to wear their hair in a certain hairstyle to achieve a spiritual goal. Hear this. In Ghana, girls become women once they master a hairstyle, and it's a physical expression to the whole community that they are now women. In certain parts of West Africa, when your hair is not done, it symbolizes to your community that you need support. Some even go as far as cutting or shaving their hair off, so others are forced to look at their head, which is a symbol for the mind or mental health. That is, I think that is really, really profound, Jester.
Yeah.
Because if you have to go through that to let somebody know that you need mental health help by shaving your hair so that people can look and see that this is what it's all about, then we are in big trouble.
Was it only for mental health or just help in general?
But
Because
both, because it says that your self-esteem is dashed when you don't have a good hairstyle. Because the relationship between us and our hair tells the story. So if you're dressed up and your hair, you could have any nicest outfit dressed and your hair is not in good shape. You just don't feel good, or you tell yourself that you're looking good because your hair is not there. Hair is the epitome of us as Black women.
So based on the condition of of your hair in some of these African states, it sends a clear message of what is.
Mhm.
That's what I realize.
Yes, and you're not
Um,
well put together. You know, another thing that hampers us as Black women is that when we straighten our hair or comb our hair and it's straight, we don't go to the pool. When we braid it, we don't go to the pool. So hence the reason why a lot of us do not enjoy going swimming, even in the ocean, because our hair get messed up. If you go to the pool with hair that is combed and the chlorine take a little hold of it, you're coming out with the afro bigger than donkey. And the chlorine damages your hair and everything. Like you have fiber. As with braids, you have that soaking hair on top of your head. You have to go shampoo. It's a lot of work for us as Black women to really look good when it comes to our hair.
and the next thing, Claire, when some of our black women adopt some of this hairstyle, in order to preserve it, some of them they don't really wash it and things as they ought to. I remember years ago, right? I was on a bus going to St. George's. I think that one time I was walking in St. George's still. So that was it, sometime in the 90s. And boy, there was a lady sitting in front of me, man. That hair would have really killed me that morning. It was smelling that bad. I'm telling you. And don't get me wrong, ladies. I'm not trying to bash you all out here. I was just saying it as really as it was, you know. So if some of them don't take the time off to really deal with it here and to make sure that it's properly look after that, yeah, in some instances, man, the smell does be raw. I'm telling you.
So let me give you a
So
thing on the smell now. When I braid my hair, when I come from the hairdresser, I only it's oil there and that's it. I don't add anything more to it to say add any sprays or anything because we as women and black women, we screw our bodies, we sweat. Human beings
yeah,
sweat a lot.
yeah.
And if you keep putting those smelly thing in like hairspray or whatever it is that you put in your hair, the sweat and that mix together and you can have what do you call it, the nuclear bomb on top of your hair. So, and if you don't shampoo it as it is, there are ways that you can shampoo your hair, but then again, just we're talking about our hair or black hair. When we braid our hair and you just go under the shower and shampoo, it rumbles like no tomorrow. It's like you have to do it again. So I think this is the reason why a lot of women do not shampoo their hair. When you pay 250,
That's what I'm saying. To
$500
preserve
get that hair done, you don't want to go on that put it under water every 2 weeks because our hair, I don't know if you notice, but our hair as black women, when you go to the hairdresser and you get your hair done or you shampoo your hair, it takes 2 weeks for the oils to coil because we have curly hair, right? Regardless of what they say, black people here are curly hair. So it takes 2 weeks for the hair oils to make its way up to the hair from the scalp. So we have to wait that 2 weeks to get our hair nice and our scalp nice and oiled. Whereas with Caucasian women or Caucasian people, they wash it now and that's it because it's straight. They get the moisture, the oil and so from there it doesn't take. So I understand, but there are ways that you can shampoo your hair. I have a way to shampoo my hair. You put the shampoo in a bit of water, you wet your hair, you take the toothbrush and you scrub your scalp. And then the rest of the shampoo, so in my mix, I get the shampoo that has conditioner in it already. And then you massage your scalp. After that, you go under the shower or wherever and you let the water just run down. And then the thing that they call durags, you tie your hair with it while it's wet. So it keeps down the hair from flying up and thing. And then either you let it dry naturally or you blow dry it and voila, you're back in your style. But a lot of people don't have the time or they don't have the patience to go through that. So they walk around with stink head. And Another thing, when we put products in our hair that is not good for our scalp, you see us doing the black woman part, we beating our head like the head or something. So
I
again,
song about that. I think it was Black Chi.
yeah. So again, to look good as a black woman, we have to go through so much gesture. And it's not that we're trying to be different, it's just that we're trying to do our self-care to look the best that we can be because of all the pressures that we are going through. It says discrimination towards black hair is pervasive in today's society. Hair discrimination is negative bias manifested towards black natural or textured hairstyles, typically worn by persons of African descent. This commentary discusses the potential effects of hair discrimination on health and well-being of persons of African descent. Specifically, it explores the mental and physical health implications of hair discrimination and situates within the broader context of social determinants of health. The Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair Act has been eliminated, sorry, the the Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair Act has been recently passed in the United States House of Representatives, but more work is needed to eliminate hair discrimination and its negative effects. Keywords: hair bias, hair discrimination, racial discrimination, black hair, racism, natural hair. So, all of that, you see that? All of this is what we as black women face in the world that we are living in, that they have to go through the House of Representatives to pass a law to eliminate what we as black women are going through. Let's hear what the clip has to say here, Jester.
This series also focuses on beauty standards and how that impacts someone's mental health. Your colleague Tatiana Walk Morris spoke with one black woman, Sydney Clark, who talked about how her mother and sister have lighter skin than her. She said, quote, "It's something that I dealt with for a long time, kind of wishing that I was whiter so I could fit in with my family. I was trying to understand why I ended up looking like this."
Okay. From the hair to the complexion.
Yeah, inferior.
Inferiority complex.
Yeah.
Jester, unless we as black women do not pick up the steak or the baton and pass it on to each and every one of our sisters and say, you are worth it, you are enough, and you can be who you want to be in a positive way.
And you must be proud of who you are.
You see, I always tell people,
you being your authentic self. I mean, you have to be moving within.
The thing is, maybe we are not suffering from inferior complexity, but the world make us feel that we are. Because if my sister is fairer than me, then it's like, well, how come she's fair and how come I have that color skin? And it's the mentality of the Europeanism in us that we have to be a certain color to be accepted in society. And I'm not going to shoot anybody down here, but I'm going to say this. If you realize a lot of the men in sports, it has been proven, they don't marry their own color women the majority of the time. 95% of them marry somebody that is light skin or white because they are not feeling secure enough in their skin to say that I can be accepted of the color of our skin and who I am in society. So they go to someone else with a higher complexion, according to the high bronze or the white, so that they feel a bit better about themselves. But does that make you better? Does that make you a different person? The color of your skin or what you have in your brain? Because as much as we are with our nappy hair, and so we are very educated people. And education has nothing, and hair has nothing to do with education and how we perform.
Exactly. And well, you make mention of the sports people. Well, maybe they think not being involved with somebody of the native land may not give them a higher pedigree of children.
I don't think it has anything to do with children, honest to goodness. But let's listen to
Because once you marry them, you intend to start a family,
let's listen
basically.
to what she has to say. Come on, play. So just why all of a sudden they stop playing for me here, you know. Okay.
That is why, Claire, in the meantime,
Yes, go ahead, speak.
that is why a lot of women in our society, they are using whitening cream. In other words, they bleaching
That one is a
themselves.
a whole thing by itself, to be
I've,
quite honest.
I've seen some of them, Claire, in very hazy sunshine. They can't even bear that,
Yeah.
you know?
On Morning
Yeah.
News Now, we spent a lot of time talking about mental health. This morning, we're focusing on the mental health and trauma Black women in America face on a daily basis. In a new series for Shape magazine called The Mental Health
That is
of Being a Black Woman in America, Chrissy King writes, quote, it's
Where should I could do this with this? And it is not working for me. So what we're talking about really is um the beauty of us as Black women and the color of our skin and what we do and how we look at things. So if you like you say, my skin is lighter than your skin, there's animosity in the family because you want to watch me and say, "Oh, mom prefer you," and believe me, Jester, there are parents that treats their child that is lighter skin to the darker skin. They treat them better. They get everything that they want, and me, I have to get the hand me downs because what my sister can't wear anymore, I have to get it. Where she get, and that is so wrong because right from whom you are starting to teach me that my skin color is not good enough.
Okay, that's so true. Your children not went through that sort of humiliation as a result of that. They may have a parent might have two children. One might because it's all about genes, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
one might take the genes of maybe the person that is darker, and then one may come out lighter. And
On Morning News Now, we spent a lot of time talking about mental health. This Park who talked about how her mother and sister have lighter skin than her. She said, quote, it's something that I dealt with for a long time, kind of wishing that I was whiter so I could fit in with my family. I was trying to understand why I ended up looking like this. That's the quote there. Talk to us about some of the Eurocentric beauty standards that Black women face and how its impact goes just beyond someone's appearance.
Absolutely. So when we're thinking about Eurocentric beauty standards, this idea that lighter skin is more straighter hair, wanting to have a thinner nose, a very particular body type. As the woman in the article was speaking about, colorism within the Black community is a real issue, right? And so she, having darker skin than the rest of her family, felt like she wasn't as beautiful or wished that her body was different. And so when we're thinking about Eurocentric standards of beauty, it's this idea that we're always striving for something other than what we are. And of course, that has an impact on mental health because your body is what your body is, your skin color is your skin color, and this desire to be something else can really put a lot of mental angst on people and also shows up in other ways. When we're thinking about Eurocentric standards of beauty, it also is not just us that feels that way, it's society at large that has a preference for certain types of looks, Eurocentric looks in general. And so there can also be harmful impacts from fitting into those standards in the workplace, with colleagues, and all types of things.
So if you want to call to make a contribution, the phone number today is WhatsApp 1416-728-8516. It's scrolling across our screen here. So just in case you want to call and make a contribution in reference to what we are talking about. Because it is very, very important for us to really know who we are and don't have to succumb to European style or Europeanism to be who we want to be. As it says in that commercial cover girl, you are, how is it again? You are worth it. And just tell yourself that you are worth it, whether you are dark, you're light brown, you're high brown, you fair, you whatever, regardless of who you are as a Black woman or a Black person in general, you are worth it. You are enough. Get the confidence to know that there's nobody more beautiful than you, nobody more confident than you, nobody nicer than you in any way, because you have to know within yourself who you are. And when we have that inferiority complex or that low self-esteem, anybody can swing us anyway, because if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything whatsoever. Just so we have to take a commercial break, and we shall be right back.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome
Spice
to
up your life and spice as the Spice Isle Farmers Association, producers of our locally grown spice products, turmeric, ginger, nutmeg, cinnamon, cloves, and much more, all of which, when used, promotes healthier living. Our spices can be used in all your cooking and for medicinal purposes. Call today on 1473 533 5472 as the Spice Isle Farmers encourages you to spice up your life. Isle of Spice.
At Sugar's Repair Services, we offer digitally calibrated machines, resurfacing engine heads, general machinery. Show us your pattern and we'll make it with precision machines. At Sugar's Repair Services, we satisfy your needs. Just ask and it will be done. Call us at 473 418 1845. Sugar's Repair Services, located at Lower Marley, St. Patrick.
Are you looking for that one local supermarket where you can purchase all your grocery and household items at the same time? Well, look no further. Smart Buy SA Belfon and Company Limited, located at the top of the town on Main Street, St. Patrick, is the ideal spot. They're open Sunday to Sunday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Saturdays, and 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Sundays, just for your convenience. Call them today on 442-9219. That number again, 442-9219. We're shopping snacks at Snack Buy.
For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com. We Noise TV, the leading streaming provider. Anytime, anywhere, any screen. Access to your favorite HD contents with prices as low as ever. Choose from monthly, quarterly, or yearly payments. This worldwide service is flexible for you to keep up with all your favorite programs, shows, movies, and local programming from home no matter where you travel to. Worldwide TV channels right at your fingertips wherever you are. Latest in live sports, binge watch all your favorite TV shows, movies on demand, videos on demand. You can pause, rewind, fast forward anytime. Never miss 1 minute in entertainment important to you. No contracts, no added prices for sports or premium packages. We certainly don't have to pull tricks like cable and satellite companies. Our product speaks for itself and beyond. We Noise TV. We have everything like Netflix, Disney, Amazon. Watch your favorite movies, TV shows, and series with our services. With our service, you will get rid of all other subscriptions. For more information, contact We Noise TV at 929-445-4463, or you can email us at wenoisetv@gmail.com.
Welcome to Take 5, your mental health program with CJ and Jester. With CJ and Jester.
Straight about Jester. And I mean, the conversation this morning is a bit, it's heavy, I know, but we have to deal with what it is that we're dealing with. Because when you look at the situation around you, and you and I talk, and a lot of other people speaks about when they see us as black women, the hairstyles that we push and the things that we do, and we wonder, well, did we just put our culture right out of the window and we're just doing it? Because when you look at the height of wigs that you see in these days, you see blonde, you see burgundy, you see green, you see blue. And this is not us. We are creative, but not that creative. And you see it flowing. And let me tell you, I don't even know how some of us wear this thing in this heat. Honestly. Because it is hot and you have this wig or thing on top of your head and it's like, whoa. It is. But again, to each his own. I'm not putting anybody down because this is what you
that's
like. But truly, as we as black people, we we do not have flowing hair unless, as you say, we are jugglers and we have those nice curly hair. Or because most of the time growing up, just our parents or aunts or moms, they corner our hair. This is what we know from day one. And we had wicked styles on the corner. You know, when my aunts and so when we went to school, when my grandmother started giving us north, east, west, and south, hair, and we get Kenro. It looks really, really good. So cornrow is part of our culture when you really check it out.
What is it? Cornrow or Kenro? Because
Cornrow.
I always hear people saying Kenro.
But
That's
it's corn and cane. There's the same thing, Some say Kenro, but we say corner is what I know it as because when you check it, it is the rows of the corn going straight with that space in it. So when they plant out here, they pat it.
Yeah.
You see the corn row down and there's the space and then the next one. This is the same way the canes are planted, just the same way. So corn Kenro, same difference. You understand? So when they did that to us, we had really nice kind of styles. Remember, we used to have a kind of style called Wang Yu, and so because when you look at the Oriental people in the movie, teaching Sin and Wang, and they hear up in that thing and they used to braid our hair just like that and put the pom pom thing in it and so we are creative. And let me tell you, I don't think there is what is improvement. There is no other nation on planet Earth that can braid hair like us black people. It's like we start from the cradle and we're going to the grave with it. Regardless it's two big ones or a million small ones, we are good at it. Some of us, we can just do our hair, do our children. But the professionals that have the salons and so, you cannot beat them for braiding hair and the style you want. You just go and say, okay, I need that style. They look at it and Jiminy Cricket, you have it in your hair.
Yeah, generally speaking, in truth, more black women that really deals with that, that's true.
Yes, and sometimes you go on a cruise, and a lot of white people go on cruise, as you know, because the cruise ship is too black and white, and you end up on a beach like St. Martin, and they have women on the beach that wait to braid it, and you see a white person going, say, "Can I have a couple of braids?" And they sit there and they braid their hair, and they add the little ice cream and gold bead to it, and they're feeling happy as a pig, and because they get their hair braided and it's black people that are on the beach doing that thing too. So we are talented. We are multi-talented when it comes to doing our hair and stuff. But the whole thing is, are we accepting the speciality of who we are?
That's the
Let's
question.
hear the next part of it, what you have to see. Let's hope it plays.
Chrissy, there's still a lot of stigma around reaching out for help, seeing a therapist, someone to talk to. You mentioned that staggering 4% number when it comes to therapists. Your series for Shape includes a story on the shame of therapy. Tell us more, and is this stigma changing?
Yeah, so unfortunately, there is still a lot of shame and stigma, particularly within the Black community around mental health. And so, and if you read the piece on mental health talks about feeling comfortable reaching out, or if a family members say, like, you don't need therapy, we can just pray on this. And so, there definitely is still a lot of stigma around mental health in the Black community, but I do feel like that's beginning to change, especially for Black women. We think of notable Black women like Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka and even Lizzo talking about mental health and taking time and prioritizing their mental health. And so I think that stigma is slowly starting to change, and more Black women in particular are reaching out to get the help they need, because ideally we want to be surviving. We want to be not just surviving, but also thriving. And reaching out for a therapist can help us sort through some of those issues.
Chrissy came with Shape Magazine, such an important series. Thanks so much for taking time to talk with us about it this morning.
On mental health and what Black women go through. And again, let's put it in perspective. I have an issue. I have a problem. Do I want to go to let somebody else hear it?
Why not?
No, honestly. Based on what she's saying here, there is a stigma with us as Black people that we do not want to go and tell anybody else our business. We just want to keep it inside. As you said, they said, you don't have to go to a therapist. Pray about it. and it goes away. But you pray to the Most High, yes. But the answer you may get is not the answer that will help you at the moment. You know, when you pray, you might get go see someone, go talk to someone, because even though you pray, the problem is still at hand. You're still going through that emotional, you're still going through that sense of hopelessness, the sense of not belonging, sense of not being accepted by your peers and everything like that. So, as it says, there's a stigma. We as black people, black women, are stigmatized, Jester, because we not, as a matter from day one, we were made to feel that we do not belong.
Yeah, we are set up.
And it's not only black women,
Inferior
black
set
people,
of people in such
exactly.
a way.
So we're not belonging to anybody. So then, if you don't belong, then how are you going to make progress with yourself? Because all along you're feeling that you are not worth it.
Okay, you think it is really prevalent so still in such a way with, with our black women?
Yeah.
Or we know what we're supposed to do, but we're just failing to do so. What do you really think here?
If you just listen to what she said there, she said women have started, we have started to sort of talk about how we feel, but it is still there. We are not coming out forthright and say how we are feeling, and we need to do this. There is no shame in saying what you're going through, because all we are looking for is help. We're looking for assistance to make us better people, to make us think that, make us know that we are worth it, that we are enough, we are better being ourselves.
Despite for example, how do we really get a lot of women not to continue to bleach, even if they are hearing of the health hazard that comes along with it? Because to me, although I've been hearing that um, health problems likely to develop as a result of bleaching, but yet still, I still know a lot of women that still continue to do it.
Okay, now it is an education. It's educate, educate, educate. And the thing is, are we willing to be educated? Because most of us will say that is my right as a woman to do whatever I want with my hair. I can say that. My daughter can say that. My nieces, my cousins, every one of us can say what I do with my hair is my business, and rightly so. But when you look at it, doing what you want with your hair is one thing, but when you go to the extreme of doing that, and you say it has its health issues, because you see, I'm working my salt and pepper, because it is proven, research has shown that when we dye our hair, it goes through the pores in our head and it can cause cancer. And what I noticed after dyeing my hair, the texture is changing. It becomes like, Brillo pot to scrub your pot. You hear the texture of your hair changes. Then when the dye dies out, you get brown patch,
Yeah, it's
you
not
get
getting
black
ready.
patch, you get white patch. You look as a hyena.
You're getting ready to.
Yes, and it is not attractive. So I came to the conclusion. I said, my hair texture has changed, or it's changing if I keep dyeing it. When you take a comb and you go in your hair, shh, like what? So I said, I have two grown as children. Nobody's going to look at me and say that I'm a young person because I've got grown children. So I would might as well just embrace who I am and rock my salt and pepper. Because let me tell you something, Jester. For me, seeing a man that is well groomed with salt and pepper, I think this is the most handsome thing or the sexiest thing I could see on a guy. Because it takes care of himself. Salt and pepper is like when you're groomed and your beard is shaved nicely and your hair is cut nicely and you're not looking scruffy or anything, you look damn good. So if this is another way that and I know a lot of women and a lot of men are not ready for it yet. And people like you just said, I don't want to accept that you're green. You're bald. You didn't have coming for you. You scrape the daylight out of your head.
Oh God.
And that is okay too. Because bald is it. And there are some men that have good shaped head and bald looks good on them. But there are some again that have egg head and they have a hump on top here and they and bald is not for them. And I'm saying again, it's up to you to embrace who you are. I mean, you did not go put in curls in it or so to make yourself feel that, okay, I don't like the texture. You scrape it out because, yes, you feel comfortable with it. But that doesn't mean that you're going to keep dyeing your hair like some people do. They keep dyeing and then you watch it and you see some on the front of your hair. And let me tell you something about that white hair of ours that comes in. It has no respect for dye or anything. You could dye it today and tomorrow you see that little white ones that are in front. So it's a constant thing. You have to take the mascara stick and keep it, and that is a lot of pressure. So if you are a man and you have your salt and pepper, rock it with dignity.
No,
If your body, that is your business.
no, you said something a while ago. That it's not necessarily the case with me. I mean, salt and pepper, because sometimes my hair do grow, have time grow up a little. If I didn't want people to see at all, every single day I'm making sure I should be don't see it at all. But it's just different stages in life and how you'd have seen it at one time as compared to present time. Because I remember in growing up, yeah, when I'm looking at big men who had their beard and they were pulling their beard and things, it's like I couldn't wait for me to start growing my beard, for me to be pulling my beard and the semen here on the chest, I couldn't wait for that time to reach. Claire, I tell you, seriously, I wish hair wasn't growing on any part of my body. So you seeing that me having my hair ball, it's just, I feel much freer. It's, what I mean? When I come out and shower, I could just take my hand and pass, and it dry off. I'm telling you, serious.
Our phone is working, people. The WhatsApp number is 1416-728-8516. So, yes, a lot of people, you accept yours because you do not like, you don't want hair because you want to be, you like the wash and go kind of people. And that's fine too. Like I said, to each his own. It's not that you're afraid to be dignified and where you rock your salt and pepper.
No.
Because you like it.
Because normally, you remember, I don't normally hide my age. You know,
there are a lot of men that I live in Canada for years, and then you look at some men that go into work and just some of them are standing there admiring men because they're rocking their salt and pepper with dignity. They have their suit on, they're walking tall, and they go and it doesn't make a difference to them who they are or anything of that sort because they are true to themselves. They feel like who they really are.
But the salt and pepper is not, that doesn't make you look old. No, it's, no, it don't make you look old. It's how you take care of yourself. Yeah, there would be a difference. Salt and pepper, or even the white here. I see some men already just pure white. And when you look at the physical structure and everything, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's all about accepting. It's acceptance, Jester. If you're struggling to find out who you are as a person, I stand in front of the mirror? Do I like to see myself in salt and pepper? Do I want to dye my hair black? Do I want to do this? And a lot of us as women, again, Jester, we have this salt and pepper, the word gray here, we call it coming in. So let's go local. And we put a color in it. We might put burgundy, we might put brown to make sure it's black. But let me tell you, white here, you come in. And then when it
You
starts
cannot
to grow,
stop
no,
it.
you can't stop
You
it.
cannot
When it
stop
starts to, when you go to the hairdresser, I've been at my hairdresser in Toronto, and people come to dye their hair, and they put burgundy and so, and it comes out kind of a hot pink. And I'm like, well, this is not the color I want, and this kind of thing. And I sit there and I just smoking like a fool. And I'm like, you cannot get the dark burgundy that you want because your hair is white and it changes the color. And women, if you all don't know, let me tell you, it changes the color because it's combating with white. Now, if I have a full head of black hair and I go to put burgundy, it's going to show up nicely because it's the true color of black that is there. But once it starts going white, whether you put it 10 times or 3 times or 4 times, it's not going to come up the color of the burgundy color or any color that you put in it because the white is more dominant.
And let me tell you something. I never realized how fast hair growth usually takes place until I really started scraping my head. Serious, man. So somebody that really have got is dying there, who you should be seeing white here and they dying there. There is something they have to pass in that year almost every day to avoid seeing any form of white children. But tell me,
So here it goes then. Hair discrimination, that is sometimes referred to as hair bias, hair racism, or hair harassment, is defined as negative stereotypes and attitudes manifested towards natural or black textured hairstyles. Hair, too, after referred to only as natural hair. Natural hair describes texture that is tightly coiled and or styles that are typically worn by black persons, including afros, locks, twisters, and braids. Society's view of natural hair as unattractive and unmanageable was prevalent during slavery, wherein slave owners required black women to cover their hair or adopt grooming practices that emulated white Eurocentric beauty standards. You see where it came back, Jester?
yeah,
Yeah, hold on. Here, discrimination is a form of racial discrimination, which is defined as differential treatment based on race or other inadequately justified factors that disadvantages a racial ethnic group. Racial discrimination is associated with numerous poor health outcomes. So they even put our health with our hair. So even if our hair, we can style it whatever way if we want. It's because we are poor, that's why we have to wear those garments. And this is how they how they put they discriminate between us and Eurocentric people. Because a lot of people today would not plait the two cornrows in their hair because it indicates slavery.
yeah. But I remember a time, clear, when people here was seriously discriminated against. Yeah, and
Not even today.
I remember like for example the Rastafari movement.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Rastafarians who back then wanted to go and get visa and thing in America, and they had to cut their hair. You understand? And some of them now they so determined that hey, nah, well that opportunity will have to go past me because I'm not cutting my hair. But look at today. We see lock hairstyle or rasta hairstyle in almost any profession you could think about in the world today.
That doesn't mean it's accepted still. It doesn't, because I was while I was doing the research and I was looking through different videos and social media clips. There was this guy that was playing soccer and he had locks and they hold him in the locker room and cut out his hair and say to him, "You cannot go on the field like that." He didn't go play because he was so upset. They cut his locks.
Like seriously, or
Yes.
no, that have taken place a very long time.
Well,
Can be in recent
no,
times.
no, no, they cut his hair. But hear what it's saying here. The surge in media coverage, societal conversation, and policy change is growing evidence for the impact of hair discrimination. Media stories of hair discrimination are reported in schools from kindergarten to universities, at work, the military, public office, etc. And within intrapersonal relationship. For example, a 2022 New York Times piece describes 5 kids' experiences of hair discrimination in their various schools. The commentary explores the potential effects of hair discrimination on the health and well-being of people of African descent. Specifically, it discusses the mental and physical health implications of hair discrimination. These are discussed within the broader context of societal determinants of health and health inequities. So even today, Jester, it is not something that is fully accepted. One girl said that she went to work with a natural hair for months. Her boss never made a comment on it because she didn't like it. She took a flat iron one day and she flat ironed her hair so it came out straight. As soon as she got to the office, the boss says, "Oh my gosh, I love your hair." It's the same head of hair she has on her head, but to her boss, it was not good enough. When she straightened it, she loved her hair. So it says here, Although people of all races, ethnicity have wear their hair and wear their hair in its natural form, often the term natural hair in national disclosure, especially in Western countries, is frequently related to textured hair and hairstyles worn by Black person and other people of African descent. The term Black or person of African descent in this article refers to anyone who has the origins from the Black racial group of Africa. So, if we have kinky hair, so even the Douglas, as you say, they consider them as black here also, eh? Because once you have a touch of black in any race at all, you will see it. Am I wrong or right?
You are correct, of course.
Right. So even though some of us that you hear was it Chrissy talked about Naomi Osaka, she talked about Lizzo, and she talked about Simone Biles. These are people that are out in the field, and one is a tennis, but two tennis player and an artist. Lizzo sings and whatever. But they too are facing racism, peer harassment because they're black. Osaka is half Asian, half Haitian, but she has nice hair. But she's considered a black person because of the texture of her hair. So she too is going to. And I remember one person said, they don't know if they're white or they're black. And Michael Jackson sings that song, Black or White. You don't know if you're black or if you're white. You're smack dab in the middle. It doesn't matter. Yeah, if you're black or white. And it matters. He said that because he wanted to be accepted because of who we are. But it does matter if you're black and white based on the situation that we face in the media, within our families, and everyone like that. Right? It says, beginning in Africa here was a cultural marker of civilization, and it was used to indicate wealth, rank, and tribal affiliation. We have a call coming through, I think. Let's see. Okay, let's see if we can accept each one. Good morning. Why is it not going? Good morning. Please call 1416 728 8516. The number that is on the screen, 9404 1189, is not working. So call 1416 728 8516 if you're calling from WhatsApp. Thank you very much. So yes, so even that Jester, it says this enslaved Africans would naturally walk in the fields, whereas those who walked inside the womb were to wear hair in patterns similar to the slave masters straight hair. So again, you see, it started from then that if you have straight hair, you walk inside. You have the nappy one outside. So these were the origins of straightening natural hair, which has been traditionally described as good hair. In contrast, natural hair without any treatment is referred to as bad hair or unprofessional. The inferior view of natural hair was deeply tied to slavery and its depiction of persons of African descent in the United States. To challenge this narrative, natural hair was used as a symbol of power and identity in political discourse in the 70s and 80s Black Power movement. The Black Power movement discouraged its followers against straightening and encouraging Afrocentric styles. So, as how they said the Black Power people were, they were encouraging their people to just stick with their hair, stick with your natural hair. Because it says in slavery, it started with the straightening of the hair. So if you have straight hair, you walk inside, you have the nappy hair like my they call it considered black hair.
Yeah, don't go outside.
Outside. Go outside. Walk outside.
You're here to hide.
Yes. But this is why the girls says, she wish she was a bit lighter so that she can fit in with her mother, with her sister that was lighter than her because of the color of her skin. And just people talk about mental health in blacks and you know what we're talking about. But because of the slavery that we've been through, it is a hard thing to get rid of when you see you're being still discriminated against for your hair that you're wearing or the hair that you have. And that's why a whole truckload of us is wearing those long wigs and those waves to feel better about themselves. But let me give you one of the awakening. Whether you do it out of style or you do it because you feel you're not accepted, you still are not going to be accepted. Point blank, right down to the wire. You're still, and they will say to you, oh my gosh, your hair is beautiful, hypocrisy. They would not accept you for the naturality of your hair because it's considered black hair. And I have to say though, as we move on and the generation gap has changed a bit, a lot of younger Caucasian girls, they may accept us right now, the friends and so in school, as the pairs that wears the thing. But the parents, if they were to have, I know of an instance where two guys, one was Jewish, one was not. The good friends. The Jewish one was graduating. He invited his black friend. And the parents said, no, he can't come. He can't come because he's not of the pedigree. You understand? So don't sit here. I don't want anybody to sit here and tell me that this still doesn't exist in the world that we live in. They will pretend that they accept you for as long as you are nice to them. But if they have to go somewhere that is important to them, you won't get invited.
Could say that again. Or makeup is a next secret. People doing a lot of makeup.
Well, they make
And
Jester because they want to look as the Caucasians.
yeah,
Somebody wrote, women can make women feel bad about their wig on. The thing on. Let me see if I can get it back.
my God.
Let's see if I can get it back here. Uh, says men or women can make women feel bad about their hair intentionally or unintentionally through their words, preferences, or action. This is especially true when societies where beauty standards are heavily influenced by Eurocentric ideals, often devalue natural hair textures and styles common among black women. Couldn't have said it better. It is quite true. Quite true. And this is what we are talking about. Eurocentric. We are not Europeans. We are African descent, as it said. Although I have a thing with it missing about Africa, this is sort of right. But still, I have to accept the fact this is who we are. We have natural, curly, kinky hair. And here, what is the beauty of this? And I think they they're not as versatile as us when it comes to it. Because I could take out my braids today and rock an afro. You understand? I could take it out today and rock to cornrow. I could put it in a mohawk. I could put it in pom poms. I could put it like Princess Leia on Star Trek. I could do a lot of stuff with my natural black hair, as well as all other black women.
These days they make it up clear. I understand the other situation whereby man end up, they went out, so he pick up a female party and thing. Because she looking real good with makeup and everything. And then after party and we go over. When all the makeup start to come down, a man bust through the door.
You kind of you see the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Better girl can get stuck in a cave somewhere. And she start to get hot, so the wig come up. You find out you jump through. Then you think you know come out to the sun. Have to be natural. So here is another point. They said they criticizing hair as unkept, too nappy, or unprofessional can deeply hurt. Comparing women with natural hair to those with straight or Eurocentric hair can make them feel less attractive or desirable. And that is true again, right down to the point. There's no shade in this. When we are rocking our hair, they look at it and they say, oh, your hair is really, really nice. They say that in front of his. But if they get somewhere, they say, oh, she could do something better with her hair. I've heard it, and I'm like, and they just want to, when they walk in, trip them. Because they are not genuine Jester.
Yeah.
But this is who we are.
But
This is what our hair is.
where women is concerned, even more than men, it's it's a key area that brings out your beauty. It's like your hair is as equally important as the teeth in your mouth. You understand what I'm saying? So if you don't have no teeth in your mouth, that is like a vehicle without a grill. You understand what I'm saying? So too, according to how you handle your hair. You know, I mean, it's serious trouble where beauty is concerned, and I might be making a little laugh behind it, but it's serious. Yeah, it's serious.
It says continuous growth of Black identity gave birth to the natural hair movement that pushed for greater acceptance of natural hair as hairstyle in the early 2000s. Many persons of African descent began transitioning from hair straightening to wearing their hair in its natural form. Attitudes towards natural hair in today's society are changing, but continue to be mixed. For example, Johnson et al. Found that compared with blacks, whites had more negative attitudes towards natural hair. In addition, personal narratives and media stories still show some negative attitudes and prejudices towards natural hair or persons transitioning to natural hair from their families, at school, or in the workplace. School employers and other organizational systems have grooming policies and requirements that also influence hairstyles for persons with natural hair. For example, in 2014, the military grooming policy banned several hairstyles, including twists and locks, but it has since changed its policy. Some employers have banned certain hairstyles outright and or require hairstyles that extend to a certain number of inches of hair from the scalp, thereby also limiting certain hairstyles, example afro. Many school dress and appearance policies codes have also been described as discriminatory. Such policies interact with societal attitudes and the narrative to exert influence on an individual's hairstyle choice. So, still, there are places that you cannot wear your locks too long. You still have to have it maybe shoulder length or just in the middle of your back. But I don't know if this is right or wrong. And somebody call me and tell me because if you're growing your hair, regardless of what style you have it in, once it's not messy or enough, it's not unruly. I can't see how you're telling me that I have to cut my hair, that I took the time to grow to fit your thing. You want to put me in your mold. Whereas when you're white, you can have hair touching your knees and nobody says. There are Indian people that have their hair all the way past their butt cheek Jester to knee ties. Nobody said to cut it.
But if there are established rules and policy already where that is concerned, then sometimes you may have to adhere. For example,
Yes.
I go and get into the police. I think you're supposed to be properly groomed and everything like that. I don't know
But
if
yes,
anything has changed
it's still the
pertaining to
same.
that. I
The
think that will
military
still
also.
remain.
Yeah.
You know,
But okay,
so
if I go for a job interview and I have my locks and it's short, and I have the job, you gave me the job. My locks is short, but that doesn't mean that my hair is not going to grow. Because hair and nails are the two things that grow constantly on people. So you telling me that I have to keep my hair at that length right through my life because I'm working here? Isn't that discrimination? No. And
yeah, but boy, again, how do you make that? How do you judge that? What if then people say, well, what if they have some policy established long before that your hair must should be of a certain height? I guess
well,
knowingly
yes.
that you would know that before accepting the job. So
Well,
I,
yes. If I come in my hair short and it says, okay, this is where you're allowed or you're permitted to keep your hair bob side, shoulder, and I accept that, then I have to abide by that rule. But if I come in based on my qualifications and my hair has nothing to do with my qualification of doing the job, then you should not discriminate about how long my hair goes if I don't have it unkept. You understand? Because it is not about the hair getting the job done. The hair doesn't work my fingers. You understand? My fingers work the keyboard, my brain work the thing that you want me to do. Here it says, this can also lead to problems in relationship. When men dismiss or show discomfort with their partner's natural hair journey, it can lead to insecurity. Even silence or indifference can be interpreted as rejection or disappointment. In many cultures, Black women are taught that straight hair is more appropriate or feminine. And when men reinforce this belief, it adds another layer of societal pressure. I mean, the comments are cannot be more bang than it is. Because even as she says in relationship, sometimes even you in a biracial relationship, when the person sees you, they attracted to the hair that you have on your head, you look so good with the hair and stuff. And then you and them come and you kind of cohabit it, and all of a sudden the hair starts to grow. And it's like, hmm, I don't know if I like that hairstyle that you have. You don't think you could move it straight with us? Because guess what? It is not him and it's not her. It's the people that are around them that is not accepting me or you because of the hairstyle that we rock.
Well, they will be very wrong. I mean, they cannot allow people to influence what they like in Israeli in such a way.
Yes, sir. If you want to belong, if you want to belong, you will do anything.
Yeah.
Sell your soul to belong. It happens. We know it. You know it. You know, if you want to belong, it will happen.
You gotta stand for certain things, and you gotta see what the consequences are at times. I believe that firmly. Serious.
Okay, so I'm going to skip up a paragraph here. Let's go to here. Discrimination in school-age children is perpetuated through bullying and school approach policies and codes. Also called hair bullying, there is a plethora of stories in the media of children who have been bullied by their peers and teachers. Negative effects on bullying in school-age children include poor academic achievements and absenteeism. Bullying is also associated with poor mental health outcomes, including depression, anxiety, self-harm, and suicidality. The effects of childhood bullying not only impact current health, but can also persist well into adulthood. In a letter of support for anti-hair discrimination laws across the country, the Association of Black Psychologists called hair discrimination an aesthetic trauma and note that the mental health effects of hair discrimination are dire. In calling it a trauma with dire mental health effects, these professionals have elevated hair discrimination to parallel other known traumas and traumatic events whose negative health effects are well known and studied. Therefore, hair discrimination invariably affects emotional and mental health and has led to development of coping strategies that include the creation of blogs to support Black women in their natural hair journey. In the study of 40 blogs, Davis et al. Note that blogs have been created with a clear intention of offering informal support to persons with natural hair, with one blog being described as hair therapy. So it has gone so far, Jester, that people are doing blogs in support of we Black people with our hair. And how is that possible when you're a normal human with the hair that you came to this planet with, that you have to suffer with it because of the world will not accept it? They want us to be Eurocentric. We are not white people. Our skin is not white. As I said, we have mocha. That's what who we are. Mocha, cappuccino, frappuccino. This is who we are. And it is hard for me to sit here and believe that I have to change myself. We have a call. Good morning. Hello? The person, what is this? Person just hang up? Hello? Let's see if it's going. Hello, good morning. The person hang up.
The person will call back.
Yeah. So yes, it is hard for me to sit here, Jester, and tell myself that I have to adopt to being Eurocentric because of the hair that I'm sporting or the hair that I'm rocking. Believe me, I have been in that. I've straightened my hair. It used to be every 3 months. I'm at a hairdresser until it started affecting my hairline. I started getting black in front and I started getting headache, and I'm like, huh, this is not right. So I cut it down short. and I never looked back. It grew and it grew, and I did twists, I did whatever, and now I'm rocking it in braids. And when I don't feel like I want to braid, I just twist, or I just go pull it up in one or do something. But you cannot mandate that I change my hair to suit the Caucasian people, because we are not that at all. The number to call. Okay, let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Why are we not hearing you? Hello, good morning. This is all right. Hello. I don't know what's going on here, but in this one, it's there. And Lorna, is Lorna that's calling? Let me see. Lorna call. Yes, she's calling the WhatsApp number, but it's I don't know why it's not going through. And it's working because I've seen it. I've seen it. Try calling again, Lorna, and see if it's gonna work. Okay, let's see. Accept here. Let's see here. That's one. Good morning.
Is everything all right?
For the same time.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead.
So very interesting topic this morning, because our hair can be an indicator of our age, authority, our social status, even our religious affiliation, or it could just be our beauty, or we can just wear it as a like a style. But hair is very important to us as women. And the topic made me reflect on even my journey with my hair. Now, up to the time I came to Canada, my hair was all natural. And this was mainly because my parents insisted that I do nothing with my hair. I had long, I think my mom is sort of Douglas, and then my dad is real coarse hair. And I took more of my mom's hair. So they insisted I couldn't do anything with my hair, and I obeyed until I came to Canada. And one day, my cousin in law was doing her hair, Jericho. She said, "Do you want to do your hair too?" I said, "Yeah." And that was the start with the chemical. And I did straightening and Jericho for a while, but about 20 years ago, I decided to go back to my natural hair. And since then, it's been natural. Occasionally, I may use the hot comb in it, but then I joke that it's only like a dry weather style, because if I get wet, it goes back to its natural um, state.
Yes.
I occasionally use a wig sometimes in the winter when it's too cold, but in the summer, I use my natural hair. So I think we have to, as women, we have to look at where we are in our journey and embrace what we have. It's a lot of hard work. If you have to, I shampoo my hair for myself sometimes at home, and I have to put aside time, like 2 hours to shampoo my hair and to get it back, dry it properly and get it back. It takes a while to get back, even to its natural stage. So I think we just have to embrace and accept where we are, and that comes with time. I think as we age, we accept gradually where we are and just go the natural way. And we will see that even in that way, we can have beautiful hairstyles. So, but I think it comes with time. Some people might be more advanced in accepting what they have, but it grows. So we just have to, respect what everybody wants to do with their hair, but eventually I think they would see the wisdom of going back to their natural hair and embrace that. So it's a very good topic, and have a good day,
Thank you so very much.
everybody.
Okay. But she made a point on that, because um like I said, we're not telling anybody what to do with their hair or anything of that sort. All we're saying is that the naturality of our hair should be paramount to us, because we cannot be Eurocentric with our hair, because they are white. They come to get another call. Good morning. Good morning.
Are you hearing me now?
I'm hearing you. Thank you.
How are you?
I am good. Thank you.
That's wonderful. So, my contribution towards the program. Um, I must say that we Black people, women, men in general, we have come a long, long way when it comes to accepting our natural look or natural hair. Because back then, the same Michael Jackson, they had to have they had to have a certain look to be accepted within the atmosphere they were in, being pop stars and movie stars and everything. Back then, if you didn't have that straight hair, if you had that light skin or anything, you were not accepted. But now I believe that Black people has generally accepted the fact that hey, we are beautiful just the way we are, and we embrace our natural hair, our natural look, and not coming to terms with it. But for me, I just consider it here. It's just here because I've got everything there is to do with my hair. But naturally, yeah, I love my natural hair. And I think that going forward, people will accept it more and embrace it, embrace that natural beauty as being black women.
Yes. I have a question for you.
Thank you.
How we're gonna say that? Are you there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. How do you feel? How do you support that? Or what do you think about you're in a household, you have your sister, or you have sisters and you have brothers, and you are lighter than your sisters and brothers. How do you feel in a home that do you feel there's animosity towards you because you're a lighter color or that you're black?
I don't think so. I don't think so because you're speaking of my family in general because my brother, he has Indian hair. My sister and I, we have this fine natural looking hair. Some of us are lighter than some. But we just kick on one another. I say, hey, we take our mother complexion, or we take our father complexion. And then you take your father here, we take our father here. We just accept it. It's just all fun for us.
Okay.
No, we just accept it as it is. But some people may not be able to, but it is what it is.
Yeah, because the clip that we listened to earlier, Chrissy spoke about the girl that said her sister is lighter than her. She wish she was a bit lighter, so she's going to be accepted because even parents, us as parents, treat our children differently based on the color of their skin too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As parents, I don't believe people should have preference. As a parent, you should never have preference in your children, because at the end of the day, it will be put against one. They will be put against one another. So you should at least accept them as is. Say, hey, you have my complexion, one have the father complexion. It happens.
Yes.
No, sometimes may not be that of the parent, maybe of the grandparents. Hey, your grandparents, this light. Because with my family, all of my family are not light skinned, they're not dark skinned because some take from both our mother and father. And then if you look at our grandmother on our father's side, she's like, you swear she was a white woman. Now, and some of us, we took that complexion from her.
Okay.
So we just have to accept it and as parents love our children equally in general.
Girl, what I'm going to tell you is keep rocking your natural. There's nothing like it.
I have no intention of going back to this chemical. Trust
Thank
me.
you very much. You and I both.
I love it.
All right.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you.
So yes, so you see now.
Very worthwhile contribution.
Yes, yes. So and that's the thing. And as you said, spirit kicks on their thing, but there are people that really take it seriously that their children is different and why can't you come out this and why can't you come out? And you can't because genes play a major, major role in how we look. I've seen twin, I've seen them. The mother is Indian, the father is Australian, and they're really blonde and blue eyed. The children are twin. One come out dark skin and the other come out as blonde as ever, and they're twin. So genes play a major role in how we look, what color skin we get, and everything like that. And once you start mixing, that's where all hell breaks loose.
Because not just that, I know a little twin too. Whatever the mother is buying for that one, make sure she get one exactly, or else it's confusion.
Yes, yes. So here, let's continue that we're coming up to the way. It says there are many grooming products and styles used to straighten and maintain tightly coiled and curled natural hair. Some of these products and processes are harmful or have been associated with negative effects. Localized effects of heat and chemical treatments include burns, scarring, temporary and permanent hair loss. Studies show that the use of chemicals for hair care might be associated with allergic reactions, cancer, and fibroids that can affect fertility and increase need of high-risk surgical interventions, including hysterectomies. Despite these side effects, we know that everyone should have the choice to style their hair as they choose and should not be required to succumb to biased hair standards. Also, there is a need to ensure that harmful products are removed from the marketplace so that persons who want to straighten their natural hair, can do so safely. In addition, because it is costly and time consuming to straighten natural hair, some women have reported the avoidance of physical activity and exercise due to the effects that this can have on straight hairstyles. For example, in a sample of 50 American girls, 24% reported that their hairstyle affect gym participation and that sweating in gym class will mess up the hairstyles. More money and time spent on hair maintenance in this study was associated with decreased physical activity. Abstaining from physical activity impacts preventative health behaviors that are related to prevention of chronic disease such as obesity and diabetes, conditions that disproportionately mineral, minor, affect minoritized persons and communities. Costs and time spent on hair or using a significant portion of income for potentially unnecessary hair maintenance can affect other lifestyle choices. Also, several instances of hair discriminations have resulted in job loss or not acquiring a job. For example, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission versus Catastrophe Management Solutions Inc. case, a black employee had a job offer rescinded because they refused to cut their hair locks to conform to the company's grooming policy. Furthermore, research shows that compared with white women, black women spend more on hair care products. Black women spend more on hair care products. Direct and indirect costs related to hair care or loss of job related income impacts, total take home income and resource available to engage in health prevention, which subsequently affects long term health outcomes. Income is a social determinant of health and is implicated in health inequities in racial ethnic minorities in the United States. So, it has a whole lifestyle when it comes to your hair and the care you have of it. And it's true that you hear Lana said you take 2 hours to do your hair. And I remember one time Oprah had a hair program on her show, and it had to do with debt diet. How you saving money and how much money you spend and so. And the woman said, you should spend that amount of money on your hair. And Oprah says, what's wrong with you? Are you crazy? We are black women. We have to spend hours to do our hair. And it's no joke. You have to shampoo, you have to condition. You have to condition. And when you finish there, when your hair wet, it shrinks back, it just go back in. So here comes blow dry or hot comb or flat iron to pull our hair back to some semblance of normalcy. So it takes money. And with Caucasian women also, they just buy a shampoo, they shampoo their hair, and they just wave it like so. Here is back in action. You understand? So it takes a toll, and you have to budget Jester. We have to budget for the amount of money we spending on our hair. So if I want to go to the hairdresser to get my hair shampooed, treated, and whatever it is, I have to come up with $100 or so. This is what the fee is for the hairdresser because the treatment is about.
Hair?
Well, I don't go to the hairdresser here. I buy the shampoo, the conditioner, and the treatment. I make my own treatment with egg and honey and whatever, and I put a hair cap on. I treat my hair. But back in Toronto,
So you don't go by at Christian?
no, I don't go to a hairdresser.
Christian is the best thing around.
You say no, I'm the best at my hair. I'm the best at my hair. I know
Very
the best at my hair. So yes, I go to Anita and I have treatments. I have shampooed, blow dried, all this kind of thing, and then they put a special thing in it to make your hair feel. Because there's a thing, Jester, that before I discovered what I'm doing, there's a thing. You go to the hairdresser and you get your hair well done, and then you go home 2 days afterwards, or you decide that week after shampoo your hair, and you get on like fiber. You just stand up and you're like, well, what did they put in it today? But I have discovered how to treat your hair and what to do and so. And there's a trick to washing your hair. I part my hair in four and I wash one section at a time and must condition one section at a time and then I'm good. So it doesn't get hard or anything, it just flows with it. So here comes here. Hair discrimination and creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. The conversation, policies, and practices around hair discrimination are changing after local national advocacy towards enactment of the Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. It's called CROWN Act, which bans discrimination of hair texture and protective hairstyles in the workplace and schools. It was passed in the United States House of Representatives in 2020, and it is one step closer to becoming national law. Beginning with California, 7 states have passed the Crump Act into law, and 23 others have introduced this bill for consideration. Local and national advocacy surrounding this law will continue to provide an avenue for conversation and education towards ending hair discrimination. And the conclusion. Actual or fear of hair discrimination can affect health behaviors in Black persons directly and indirectly. The relationships and paths from hair discrimination to health outcomes are complex, but discrimination is associated with numerous mental and physical health outcomes. Perceived hair discrimination or activities done to straighten hair to prevent hair discrimination or conform to discriminatory policies may place individuals at risk for disease, burns, hair loss, etc., or risk for other risk factors, example, physical inactivity. Although the experiences of hair discrimination addressed in this article have focused on natural hair and hairstyles in persons of African descent, people with non-natural hair also face the hair discrimination, prejudice towards blacks who straighten their hair, prejudice towards certain hair colors, etc. The purpose of this piece is to shed light on the long history and potential effects of hair discrimination on persons of African descent in the United States, and not the United States alone, worldwide. In keeping with these tenets of inequity, the authors are not stating that black natural hair is superior to other types, textures, or hairstyle, but the purpose of this piece is to advocate for everyone's freedom to wear their hair in whatever manner they choose without the fear of prejudice or discrimination. Passage of the Crown Act brings us one step closer to this, but more work is needed to ensure that people should have the choice to style their hair however they choose while still being able to engage in activities and behaviors that will lead to healthy lifestyles and positive health outcomes. And that's it in a nutshell about this discrimination of hair and everything. And just it is proven in research that women who used to straighten their hair all the time, when they give birth to babies, they develop at a faster rate because of the the thing that they use in the chemical, processing thing. The children develop at 8, they have big boobs, they have the period, they fat, they obese and everything like that. And this has been on the down spiral down because as you said, downward spiral because a lot of us as women have gone natural. And before we end, let me just say, if you are a black woman, just take care of the locks that you have. Rock it. It belongs to you. You're not European. You're not Europe centric. You are black. Rock your style. Just don't go about with it looking like a gollywog all over the place because me, when I see people with that as a black woman, I'm saying you cannot do a little something better with your hair because it looks as though, well, you do not know if you want your hair to be in that style or this style. You're just there. And so if you take care of your hair and you rock what style you want, rock it with confidence. Rock it as though it belongs to you and not no one else. Just remember, you are worth it and you are good enough. Let me say thank you to each and every one of you who checked in this morning on the live and the contributions that you have made. It was well So the call is again accepted. So Jester, you go and we are
I passed by Miss Gladys in the shop in Maddie's because I'd invited her to look at the program, and she said, "Yeah, it's a very good program. It's good, but the program is too damn long."
we hear that.
Telling you straight, what Miss Gladys said.
Yes,
Don't be
yes.
straight.
I understand, but we have to negotiate to get it back into an hour. We'll try to get into an hour. Let's start an hour with what in May. Let's walk in with the with 107.5 and with Sky Strong if they get and if they get things to speed the slot for an hour.
That will happen.
But you see, we have a curiosity couple forward, Jester.
Oh
Don't
my
we?
gosh.
So, okay, if that is the case, we'll find out if we can be down to an hour by the people that carries the program. But again, let's say thank you so much. And we are really happy that you are listening to us because, yes, we do come up with some very important topics to talk about that will help people to change their life around that so we feel the light. It is 12 o'clock, Jester, and it is time for us to say au revoir, adieu, abiento,
Goodbye.
adios, all of the above, and ciao.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jester. Thank you all for tuning in with us here on Take 5. And we are, as they say, out. We are all just ended. We are out.